Pause button.
Another round of applause for the I-90. What a blessing. I said, is it hard to see why the I-90s do seven figures with getting hard like that? When you have that attitude, things just seem to happen. And they don't have to be here. They don't get paid to be here. And they don't get paid to share all this information with you. So count your blessings that they are here. In fact, those of you that are working with them as mentors, you're very lucky to have them. Because nobody I know better has done more than they have in the spirit of what we're trying to teach here. So, okay, let's get, I want to pre-screen some more of your deals before we get through today. I have a few of them that you brought. And I have a few of them that came to my office. I brought just in case you guys didn't bring enough. Shh. And we got a lot of paperwork to get through today. We got agreements both to buy and sell. Just got a ton of stuff to get accomplished. I don't know what time we're going to get out of here. But whatever it is, you'll have a lot to do when you leave. Okay, how many of you are already so confused you just don't know what you're going to do next? Huh? All right, got one. Okay, how many of you are a whole lot better off than when you came yesterday morning and you get this stuff now? Okay, who thinks you're going to be an expert when you leave this afternoon? Nobody. Good, because you're not. Here's what's going to have to happen when you go. You're going to have to get out there and generate some leads. They're going to come in. You're going to pre-screen them as we're doing here. You're going to contact them. You're going to be uncomfortable for a little while. You're going to make mistakes. And you're also going to have some successes. Because some of these people need you so bad, they will even accept your blundering and work with you anyway. Because they want out of their houses. And you'll discover that you don't have to be really that good at it. You don't have to be a great negotiator or a great coordinator, a great communicator. You don't have to be great at anything. You just have to give people the opportunity to get out of their house. And many of them are going to take you up on that opportunity. And as you go along, the better you get at that, the easier everything gets, and the more deals you do, and the less leads you have to acquire to process to get through the mess to get as many as you can handle. Then pretty soon you'll be at the point where you can't handle anymore, and you'll start getting help other than the VA. I would hope that you're going to get a VA immediately after leaving here. Or if you haven't already, as many of you already have. I can't imagine why you would leave and not have a conversation with Elsa before you go. We brought her to the room, so you can do just exactly that. She has no other reason to be here. And if you don't get her started, then you better ask yourself, gosh, what am I going to do? Who's going to do all this work? And of course, the answer is ugly because it would be you. And if it is you, the work won't get done. Let's be frank with each other, shall we? If you're going to do the work, it will not get done because you got all this other stuff. And pretty soon, something comes up that's more important than calling those sellers today. And next thing you know, they don't get called. And then they never get called because that something just keeps on coming up. And minutia sets in, and procrastination has already set in, and nothing's happening, and time goes by. And then the next seminar comes up, and you come to the seminar, and you listen to all the other people making a lot of money, and you wonder what the heck's wrong with me. What's wrong with me is that you didn't start the machine, you didn't get the right tools in place, you didn't get the VA to start and help and get through that front end process and get them trained, and therefore you don't have any prospects, therefore you don't have any business. And if you fail to do that, everything else will suffer. Today we're going to start with agreements to buy, and then we're going to get into selling the houses, and then we're going to get into the agreements to sell, so that everybody's clear on agreements. Before we get into agreements, I'm going to tell you right now, everybody grossly over worries about agreements, because there's nothing you can do in an agreement that will harm you in these cases, because you have nothing at risk to begin with. And people tend to forget that. I'm not investing any money, and I'm not putting up my credit. I really don't have any way to lose, except maybe get sued, and that's why I use attorneys, so that don't happen. That's the way this whole thing's been structured for you. You just follow the system and use it. Now, I am going to start this morning on page 76 in your manuals. Okay, who's excited about getting into agreements? Who can hardly wait? I can hardly wait. I've been looking forward to this all night. All right, let's start by page 76. Get a signed agreement. Get a signed agreement. All right, first let me tell you, and this goes for pretty anything you do in business, guys, whether it be real estate or not. You live in a society where there's an awful lot of hot air floating around. I mean, people talk, make promises. I'm going to do this. How great I am, and you can easily just absorb it and assume that they're actually telling you the truth. When will you know if you got a deal? When somebody says you got a deal? When you get it in writing, and then you only have a semi-deal because you get it in writing doesn't necessarily mean it's going to close either, does it? Now you're in charge of closing this one, but do things still go wrong? Well, this much I'll tell you. In a world of commercial, just because you put a property under contract doesn't mean a darn thing. At least 50% of the projects that are put under contract out there in the commercial will fall out before they ever get closing. In fact, I've had 3 apartment complexes fall out in the last few months. They fell out because I made them fall out because the due diligence flunked. Went out to look to see what we were buying, and it wasn't much. It was not what we expected. In this case, they were in war zones. Well, not really. One of them was, 2 of them were. But the numbers didn't make any sense. For the area, the rents were so low, the cost of renovating the property was more than the value of the property after renovated. And that's very common out there right now. And rents will determine that. All commercial properties are determined by their net operating income, the value. And if you can't get that up there, the value is the value is the value. And you can't change how they determine the value. You can only change the value. And if you can't make it work, you can't make it work. I remember we went all the way to Memphis, Josh Caldwell. Now we had this 200-unit apartment complex under contract for $500,000, and it was pretty in the picture. Now, it had a beautiful wrought iron fence around it. That fence must have been $150,000. I mean, we couldn't even get through the fence without the key, and couldn't get through the gate. So we get up there though, and then we got on the inside, and the bank had closed the place down and vacated it. And the vandals just went in there and just ripped the inside out of the place, took the copper out of it, just destroyed the insides, as they do in a lot of projects. The banks, in their infinite wisdom, take over a project and decide to vacate it, which is a dumb move. You're better off leaving drug-addicted, dealing derelicts in there than vacate the property. At least there's somebody there. So what happens when you vacate a property? The vandals just swoon in and gut the place. Of course, that's exactly what happened here. And as it turned out, what we thought was $10,000 a unit rehab turned out to be about $25,000 a unit rehab, and the units weren't worth a nickel more than $20,000 after rehab. So, dead deal. Just had one in Alabama under contract, and sent a guy over there, he said, man, this is not a C property. It's not even a D property. It's somewhere below D-minus property, a D-minus area. I said, I don't even want to come here during the day with a gun, much less at night. I wouldn't come here at night with a SWAT team. So how do you rent a property like that? The answer is you don't, which is why it's sitting there vacant. All right, contract over. Call the deposit back and we're done. So the point is, just because you put something under contract does not necessarily mean that it's going to go. You guys here, realtors, tell you all the time, when you talk about bank-owned properties, well, I was under contract. Well, assume that means it's closed, because it is not closed. Not closed, but somebody brings money. All kinds of things happen to keep it from closing. You always got to keep your eye on the ball. When you talk to a FISBO This book tells you, well, I got a buyer. Well, human nature just shuts off immediately. Okay, well, that was over. Well, it's not over. What does that mean? You have a buyer. Do you have it under contract? No, but I got a guy who says he'll pay me X. Okay, well, that tells me she doesn't have a soul. In fact, you don't have anything but hot air. Like they say in Texas, tall hat, no cattle. I'm getting prepared for Texas. I went out there to the boot camp in a couple months, and Nikki bought me a white cowboy hat, so I look like J.R. Ewing. If they say I've got it under contract, that does not mean it's going to close. So at least follow through to see that it does happen. Okay, I'm on page 77.